Flexing them pecs. Oh, making them hurt. Let's get it. That my baby gonna get taken care of. And I know. Heath was the last man who touched me.
He's known for his eccentric and creative posing, as well as his rivalry with 7-time Olympia champion Phil Heath. Today, I'm talking about the Predator, Kai Greene. And when I say Predator, I don't mean Dateline NBC Predator. I mean Predator from the movie Alien because of his funky ponytail situation. So somebody who doesn't really understand that could think about the wrong kind of Predator, so I just thought I'd get that out of the way. I'm Large Kofi, but you can call me Kevin Hart, and in today's video, we're going to be examining how Kai Greene went from the biggest underdog in the IFBB to the biggest troll in the entire federation. Let's talk about it. Leslie Kai Greene was born in Brooklyn, New York in 1975, and he would move around between foster homes and residential homes beginning at the age of 6, so his developmental years were not that easy. Despite that, Kai was able to find an outlet that would not just give him a better shot at a stable life, but a legitimate career. That outlet was of course bodybuilding, and it would be fate that will allow him to discover that when one day his 7th grade English teacher, who was also a gym owner, put on the iconic documentary Pumping Iron. See, Kai was extremely precocious and filled with energy, and given his troubled past, he had a bit of a disruptive reputation in school. But all of that stopped after watching Pumping Iron because he had finally seen something that had piqued his interest. With his English teacher seeing that Kai needed an outlet to release all that pent-up energy and aggression that he built up due to his circumstances, he insisted that Kai compete in teen bodybuilding, which he did. As you could imagine, Kai dominated his competition. With muscular development so ahead of the pack, he was finding incredible success. So much so that at 19 years old, he earned his first pro card with the NGA at the 1994 NGA American Nationals. In 1996, he would take first overall at his first WNBF show, which as far as natural bodybuilding federations go, is a step up from the NGA. This confirmed to Kai that he had what it took to take it to the next level, the NPC. In his first 3 NPC shows, Kai placed 2nd, 3rd, and 6th. Not the trajectory that he was looking for. And as the 1999 Team Universe Championships approached, Kai knew that he needed to win, especially having come close twice before. And at that 1999 Team Universe Championship, Kai Greene would win his IFBB Pro card. And thus, the foundation for the legend of Kai Greene was set. It wouldn't begin until 2004 though, as Kai would take an entire 5 years off to really improve on his physique so he can really compete with the big boys. And all of this work got him a whopping 14th place at the 2005 New York Pro. Yeah, the IFBB is no joke. It wouldn't be until 2007 that Kai would make great improvements and a really good impression on the judges. He would earn his first top 10 finish at the 2007 New York Pro. And in that same year, he got his first win as an IFBB Pro at the Sean Ray Pro-Am in Colorado, the same show that his future rival Phil Heath won the year prior. He continued his ascension to the top and earned his biggest victory as a pro when he won that elusive New York Pro title in 2008. He placed top 3 at his next 3 shows, which included a victory at the Arnold Classic. This gave him huge momentum going into the Olympia, where he would take 4th place. Not bad for your first Olympia. That 4th place finish had him over Phil Heath by 1 placing. That placing, however, would be the last time that he'd ever place over Phil Heath. Phil probably discovered vibranium or something, because he came back the year after that, a completely different bodybuilder, and he placed 2nd to Jay Cutler. And beginning in 2011, he would begin his reign as the Sandow's next gatekeeper. From the 2012 Olympia to 2014, Kai Greene would come in 2nd place to Phil Heath all 3 years, coming extremely close. And with bodybuilding being a subjective sport, the judges didn't think that Kai's physique was strong enough to really kill Phil's. I say kill because in bodybuilding, to beat a reigning champion, you can't just look great and knock them out. You gotta kill them completely by bringing a physique so undeniably great that the judges have to reward you. Kind of like what Sean Roden did in 2018. Rest in peace, Sean. See, bringing your best sometimes just isn't enough, especially when the reigning champ is bringing their best. And then you have a stalemate. See, historically, we've seen in that scenario that the judges usually lean towards the reigning champ, and personally, I think that's what happened to Kai all those years he came in 2nd. Honestly, he was so close. I think the minor difference in size, especially from the back, is where Kai lost, because Phil's back is all-time great and that's not even debatable. But despite this, I personally think that Kai should have won at least one of those years, specifically 2014. But again, I'm not a judge and it's a subjective sport and the judges are gonna do what the judges want to do. Now, this rivalry was highlighted by some really entertaining jawing and shoving between Kai and Phil. 2014 specifically was the year of the iconic Kai Greene stare down. You know, the one where he looked like he was about to swing on Phil right then and there. And Phil was just trying to play it cool, standing there laughing, looking at the audience like, ha ha, get a load of this guy. Please don't hit me. That interaction wasn't surprising though, given some of the mental warfare that Kai deployed at that year's Olympia press conference. Their entire rivalry was extremely entertaining. I mean, they were giving the fans what the fans wanted to see.
Not 2014. And any man that came here with the opportunity to expect to do their best to win has the right to go ahead and advance himself and do that.
Interrupt you when you're actually trying to talk.
Phil, just kick all his assets and have you.
There you go.
So let's do it, Phil. Keep my assets then. I'm here. Talk is cheap.
I mean, there is no doubt that when he was active, Kai Greene had one of the biggest, most marketable personalities in all of bodybuilding. Kai took the 2015 season off and came back in 2016 and dominated the Arnold International scene, taking first place in Ohio, Australia, and Brazil. Now, you would think that after those impressive placings, Kai would give the Olympia another run, right? Wrong. He hasn't been on stage since, because he would shift his focus to the other passions of his and really walk through those doors that bodybuilding opened for him. See, Kai wasn't just an artist on the stage, he was an artist off of it as well. He discovered his passion for visual arts back in 2011, and he began creating canvas paintings, which he displayed at his very first art show that same year. And I have to say, his work is incredibly impressive. Kai also really honed in on the art of posing by taking it from the stage to the streets, where he would perform for the general public. He'd do these creative posing routines on the streets and in subway stations, and he got so much notoriety that he became probably the most sought after guest poser, and he was getting booked for guest posings all across the world. His intricate costumes combined with his expression of posing as an art form made his routines look more like a beautiful contemporary dance number than anything. So Kai was ready to express his passion for art in other ways than bodybuilding. In 2015, he got his first acting role in a movie called College Debts, where he played a stripper and choreographer. Nice. And in 2017, he appeared in the second season of Netflix hit Stranger Things, where he played the role of Funshine, the enforcer for that group that Eleven encountered, which I might add is a perfect role for Kai. And given the success and popularity of the Stranger Things series, this role gave Kai Greene his first taste at mainstream exposure. Kai was able to get a taste of the other opportunities that were out there for him, opportunities that were going to be a lot more lucrative than losing to Phil Heath every year. These new opportunities haven't stopped Kai from trying to stay relevant in the bodybuilding community by trolling the shit out of everyone. It just seems like every year when Olympia season rolls around, it's also Kai Greene trolling season because he just starts blue balling hard. You know, like that girl from Tinder. He loves making the ambiguous social media post that implies that he's coming back to bodybuilding at some point, something that he's been doing annually. Over the last few years, he would post physique updates of him looking pretty damn good, and that would get the fans talking because he looked like he was prepping for a show. So we'd be seeing these strategic prep updates and comparing his physique to the ones we're seeing on stage, and it became very clear that Kai could still compete with the best of them. For a guy approaching 50, who's still big, still shredded, he could really come back and be legitimately competitive if he wanted to. So of course it would create a ton of disappointment for the fans when we would find out that he wouldn't be competing at all, because honestly, in my opinion, there's no person that deserves an Olympia in the IFBB more than Kai Greene. In retrospect, as Phil was becoming a shell of himself, Kai had a legitimate chance at snatching the sand out from him. So it was super disappointing to the fans when he failed to do that, because we were robbed of that Kai Greene redemption story, which was a story that we all wanted to see play out. What made this even worse was Kai's constant trolling of Phil and consistent proclamation that he was a better bodybuilder, which at the time that he was posting all of this stuff and trolling Phil, he had a better physique, so his reluctance to step on stage and prove it is all the more annoying. The IFBB constantly giving him special invitations just added fuel to the troll fire, because a special invite allows a competitor into the Olympia without having to qualify. So Kai's path to get back there was pretty easy. So the door was always open for Kai Greene to return at the Olympia. Hell, according to Chief Olympia Officer Dan Solomon, that door is still open. In my opinion, when the judges were ready to take the title away from Phil Heath in 2018, Kai Greene would have won the Olympia that year had he competed. But I guess we'll never know. He just kept using the hype as a marketing strategy to draw more attention to himself, which would in turn draw more attention to whatever new thing he was working on or whatever he was selling. His trolling of the fans became expected at a certain point, and the fans had been fed up for years. It's like bodybuilding's version of The Boy Who Cried Wolf, except it's the Kai that cried Sandow or something. Kai's trolling has become so predictable that it's kind of lost its effect, and the fans have just kind of stopped taking him seriously because, fool me once. I don't think the trolling has hurt Kai's overall legacy that much. I mean, he's one of the greatest of his generation, and I think he will go down as such. I think when he stepped away, he wanted to keep his name relevant within the community, and trolling was kind of his way of doing it. Incessantly trolling your competition can be funny for a bit, but when it comes at the expense of the fans, it gets really old really fast. I personally don't think we'll ever see Kai Greene on a bodybuilding stage again. I just don't see why at 46 he'd put his body through the stress of another bodybuilding prep. Especially when you have a lot of young, super hungry guys that are quickly moving up the ladder. I think Kai's window to win his first Olympia was about 4 years ago. I think Kai's enjoying life away from the stage and the time that he's been getting to pursue his other business ventures. He most recently appeared in 2 foreign films, Pogaru and Crazy Fist. And he has a documentary set to be released in 2023, so that's definitely something we can look forward to. What do you think about Kai's trolling? Do you think it's come to a halt? Or do you think Kai Greene trolling season is going to be back in full effect for the 2022 Olympia? Let me know your opinions in the comments and we can have a discussion. Thank you so much for watching this video. I really hope you enjoyed it or learned something new. If you want to see more content like this, consider subscribing and giving the video a like. I'm also getting ready for my own competition in about 9 weeks, so if you want to check out my prep updates, here's my Instagram. And once again, I'm Large Kofi. Thank you for watching.